Hello, everyone. It's Friday, April 9th, 2021. This is your Commonwealth Club Week in Review. Hear what you missed this week and what we've got lined up for you next week. I'm Norman from San Diego. I've been a longtime subscriber to the club's audio podcast, and I'll be your host today for the Week in Review. Are you a fan of the club podcast? If so, how would you like to be the voice of an upcoming episode? If so, just send an email to info@commonwealthclub.org with narrate in the title, and a producer will get back to you shortly. You never know. It could be your voice we hear later this summer. It was a full week of programs at the club, and there's a lot planned for next week. So let's get started. On Tuesday, April 6th at 10 a.m., it was Ty McCormick and James Fallows discussing real-life stories of perseverance. From life in Dadaab refugee camp in Kenya, home to more than 200,000 Somali refugees, Ty follows the journey of one refugee boy who reunites with his family in the United States through happenstance, long odds, and impossibly good luck, and wins a scholarship to study literature at Princeton University.
There are no newspapers in Dadaab. You can't go to the corner and put a quarter in the machine and get a newspaper. The only place that he could find newspapers was at the butcher shop. The meat would come wrapped in old newspapers, and he would take these bloody old newspapers and he would read them.
Tuesday at noon, it was entrepreneur Sunil Gupta in conversation with DJ Patil on his new book, Backable: The Surprising Truth on What Makes People Take a Chance on You.
One of the mantras that I like to give myself that kind of emerged from this book is that long-term success comes from short-term embarrassment. Every single embarrassment I have had has been in some ways a stepping stone, a learning, an insight that I've been able to take with me.
Tuesday at 5 p.m. was a meeting of the club's book discussion group. Author Steph Cha joined us live for an interactive Zoom book discussion about her award-winning novel, Your House Will Pay.
I always did want to be a writer, and I thought maybe I should try writing that crime novel. I thought I wanted to read the Korean-American contemporary version of a Raymond Chandler novel, and I hadn't found it. I think that's part of how writers are born. You read a lot, and then you realize this book I want to read doesn't exist, and then you think maybe I could write one.
As of now, it looks like our next book discussion group meeting will be June 1st with Schwan Juliana Wong and her book Home Remedies. Sign up for this book discussion group meeting on the club's website. Wrapping up Tuesday at 6 p.m., theoretical physicist and professor of women's studies, Dr. Shonda Prescott Weinstein shares her thoughts on the wonders of the universe from her book, Disordered Cosmos, a journey into dark matter, space-time, and dreams deferred.
Children are just trying to figure out why the world is the way that it is. As early as we can, we need to start teaching them that the answers in science are the ones that we figure out, that the universe doesn't provide a solution set.
On Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., it was I Hear You, talking and listening to people with Alzheimer's with Dr. Jane Mahakian and Allison Kuhn.
I know you're studying to work with older people that have memory loss, but I just want you to know something. I said, well, what is it, Grandma? And she said, I want you to know that people with memory loss are always right.
Wednesday at noon, it was how a Republican Supreme Court is reshaping America. Ian Millhiser argued that this powerful, unelected body, now controlled by 6 Republican presidential appointees, sits at the center of American political and civic life.
The Republican Party, I think, has good reason not to feel confident that they can win fair and square elections, at least running on the policies that they're running on now.
Thursday at 10 a.m., it was Reopening Muslim Minds. Author Mustafa Akoil was in conversation with Humanities Chair George Hammond and took us on a fascinating journey into Islam's diverse history of ideas and argues that the next Islamic Enlightenment may be on the horizon.
And when I say reopening Muslim minds, what I mean is that we had actually very interesting theological insights in early Islam, which could actually prevent this, authoritarianism, or help us today to rethink some of these issues.
The week wraps up on Thursday at noon. Michelle Meow was with filmmaker Alice Gu on the real-life tale of Ted, the Donut King, a rags-to-riches story of a refugee escaping Cambodia and building an unlikely multi-million-dollar empire, baking America's favorite pastry.
And all of these articles came up about Ted Ngoy, the Cambodian refugee turned donut mogul, shook hands with 4 US presidents. And I was fascinated and amazed that something that's been right under my nose my entire life, I had no idea.
Did you know the Commonwealth Club produces almost 500 programs a year? We couldn't do it without the help of folks like you. If you're already a member of the club, thank you. Your financial support helps us continue bringing important, diverse, and informative programming to the airwaves. If you haven't already, please consider joining the club. Memberships start at as little as $10 a month. Enjoy exclusive discounts and access to special programs, all while knowing your contributions directly support our many public programs and civic initiatives. Visit commonwealthclub.org/membership for details. Here's what the club has lined up for you next week. Starting the week off on Tuesday at 10 a.m., it's a flashback to your favorite old-time radio shows. Robert Melton talks with Noel Griffin. Griffin, a former radio broadcast host with WJIB, KFOG, and KGO, will take us on an energized and fascinating talk about the best and most popular old-time radio shows of their day. Monday Night Philosophy celebrates National Poetry Month at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. National Poetry Month has become the largest literary celebration in the world, and for this program, you'll enjoy Phyllis Levin, Hofstra University's poet-in-residence, in conversation with Paul Gupta. At 6 p.m. Tuesday, best-selling Bay Area author Jasmine Darznik returns to the Commonwealth Club to discuss her new novel, The Bohemians. Her book captures the glittering and gritty 1920s in San Francisco with a cast of interesting characters, including cameos from legendary historic figures Frida Kahlo, Ansel Adams, and D.H. Lawrence. On Wednesday at noon, Dr. John Torres has spent his career fielding medical emergencies at home, in the ER, and abroad on humanitarian trips to Central and South America. He'll be in conversation with Lenny Mendoza, discussing Dr. Disaster's Guide to Surviving Everything, essential advice for any situation life throws your way. On Wednesday at 3 p.m., it's CNN News anchor Brooke Baldwin. Huddle, How Women Unlock Their Collective Potential. Brooke and CNN co-anchor Allison Camerata explore the rewards of women-led spaces for mental health, workplace assistance, and overall wellness. On Thursday at 3 p.m., it's Amanda Tyler with Soledad O'Brien on the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the fight for a more perfect union. Amanda and Soledad commemorate the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and tell us what we could learn from the late justice's life work. Friday, April 16th at noon ends our programming week with Dr. Michio Kaku, The God Equation. Following in the footsteps of Isaac Newton and Edward Teller, Michio Kaku strives to continue Einstein's search for a theory of everything, seeking to popularize science and unify the fundamental forces of the universe. We're always adding new programs. Find the most current schedule at commonwealthclub.org/online. Lastly, we're starting to explore the idea of reopening our building in downtown San Francisco for live programs. If you're interested in attending live events with us later this year, please take our survey. We'd like to hear your thoughts on getting to and attending our live programs. If you're listening to this program on podcast, email info@commonwealthclub.org and we'll send you the survey link. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks again for your support and for listening. We'll have another week in review for you next week.